suppose it's time for me to talk about the one thing that will be happening in February, which was the biggest thing in movies since the Cannes, which I think are rubbish, but the Oscars. The Oscars will be happening in February, which will be hosted by Eddie Murphy, who hasn't made a decent film since that film with Steve Martin. Because I don't know what it is, which, by the way, if you do know what it is, send me a comment on my YouTube or Facebook account, please. But enough about my plea for Eddie Murphy to do a decent film. The thing that's happened has been the bookmakers have decided to start their booking and seeing who's the favourites to win for which award, which is too soon because I haven't got a clue who's going to win. I haven't seen the film. But what I can tell you is the films that I've seen that I reckon could do well, and the films I'm going to see that could be big award contenders. Obviously, I've seen Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which was a fantastic film. I think it should be nominated for 3 awards. Best Actor, Gary Oldman. Best Supporting Actor, either Colin Firth or my preferred choice, Tom Hardy. And finally, Best Director, Thomas Alfredson, who I think this is a fantastically directed film, and I think if you don't give this award to him, then you've done another Inception disaster. But I'll come to that later on. Another film which will be big, that's coming up, which I haven't seen, which I will see in January, is The Iron Lady. The Iron Lady is about the years of Margaret Thatcher's reign before she became in power, during the reign, and when the moment she got stabbed to death by her party, or I like to think of it as the happy day of my life. But enough about my views. I think it's going to look really, really good. Meryl Streep, a few people have criticised her for being in the film, including the Conservative Party, surprisingly enough. They invited her to the House of Commons, and now they've criticised the fact that I think she's picking Margaret Thatcher as an idiot. Well, I think you're offending Meryl Streep. Oh, actually, it was Mamma Mia, but I think she could do a pretty good job as Margaret Thatcher. Maybe the reason why she's portraying her as an idiot was she was an idiot. But I think it looks a really good film. Next big film to come out could be Oscar-worthy contender. I'm not too sure now, but I think Drive will be another contender. There's been this big wary thing in the Oscar season that they always pick the wrong film, and I think it's rightfully so. King's Speech is not one of them. Well, actually, it kind of is, you see. Colin Firth does deserve to be Best Actor. I don't think it was the most directed film, and I don't think it should have won Best Film. I think Best Film, it should have been The Social Network. I know a few people will be going on about, well, it's a dull Facebook film. Well, it's not really. It's about an idea, and a person, and the idea gets, well, in that case, stolen, and then becomes the biggest thing ever in modern world history. And I think it's a fantastic film. Best Director, well, if he was nominated, I reckon it should have been him. I'm referring to Christopher Nolan, which I am still blabbing on, and yes, you can go on me about this when we get to college, but the fact of the matter is, Christopher Nolan should have been nominated for Best Director for Inception, and thankfully, should have won. And if you're thinking, oh, it's just quite complicated, you are very dumb. You're very, very dumb. So, yeah, but he didn't get nominated, and David Fincher was nominated, which he lost to Tom Hooper for in King's Speech. It's a good director film. Mind you, I would have preferred David Fincher, because I thought it was a fantastically directed film. And what can I say? It didn't. But I want to draw your attention to the next bubbly thing, which is another thing in the Oscar candle which they didn't win or didn't nominate, is the past film where you didn't win, but then you won it for a thing you didn't really deserve. For example, Martin Scorsese, Goodfellas nominated, didn't win, and a few other films got nominated, didn't win. He got nominated for The Departed, which wasn't a great film, but he still won for Best Director. And I just think, if you're going to pick an award, you should have picked it the right one. Godfather deserves the Oscar. Marlon Brando probably did deserve it for Best Film, but there's some early films he should have won. And time again, I just think the Oscars should start thinking. And the thing that pisses me off the most are, there are several good films that come out before the Oscar season, and you don't even nominate it, don't even give it attention, because you're too lazy and fat to even go to your computer and type in the film from that year and think, ooh, that's good for January or March or February. That's very good. Instead, you are too fat and ugly. You don't even go for March or April. Oscars, if you are watching this, think before you nominate. Think from your time when you went to the cinema in the last year. Think. And now it comes to your part of the series, my viewers. As you know, I've been quite vocal of the matter, but what about you? Tell me your best and worst Oscar film or actor that won it. Now, obviously you're going to say a few things, but I want to see some surprises. So, for you at home, and for college, and that goes especially to you that's in my class. Has there ever been a time, which is the best film that you've seen that was won at the Oscars, and the worst, and the best actor that won at the Oscars, and the worst, and so on? Tell me next week and I will read your comments out. Until then, get researching.